Okay, so welcome from my side. My name is Jussi Galla, and I'm gonna be facilitating the panel discussion. In the panel discussion, we are gonna use this serious game, and I'm gonna tell the faces for the audience a little bit later. But I'm gonna first start with introducing the panelists, and then we're gonna start. And the idea is to have dialogue about the topic, ensuring excellent overall quality. And this is a nice experiment. I haven't experimented in this way earlier, so let's see what it comes. And in the phase of the ending of the session, the audience is able to participate also in the form of the Q&A. It's interesting to see if the audience perspective is different from the panelists' perspective. So, but yeah, I'm gonna start introducing the panelists. So first on the stage, let's welcome Maaret Pyhäjärvi, who works as a principal test engineer at Vaisala. And now all in your homes, you can have these amazing applause. And welcome, Maaret.
Thanks.
And then the next panelist is going to be Sari Hildén, head of transformation and development at Posti. And now, once again, everyone can have the applause in their home.
Thank you, Jussi.
Welcome, welcome. Nice shirt, by the way. And then the third panelist, we're going to introduce Samuli Kiviniemi, digital development and culture lead or culture minister from Sanoma. And then we have Esko Hannula, CEO of Qentinel. Welcome, Esko. And you can have the amazing applause.
No.
If we can get, there might be some technical problems, but yes, there wasn't. Great, perfect. And then the last panelist, but not the least, Mika Kivi, who works as a product owner at OP Financial Group. Welcome, Mika.
Thank you.
So this is good to have the slow clap at your homes. Okay. So welcome. So here are the panelists. Now I'm going to explain what we are going to do. And for the audience, it would be good when I share my screen. It's a good idea for you to click the screen in a larger form, so it's easier for you to focus and view the flow of the discussion and the game. Okay. So the topic of the session is going to be ensuring excellent overall quality. We are going to use this serious game as the facilitation tool. We are going to talk about two point of views. The first one is going to be what does the panelist think is the most enabling in this topic of ensuring excellent overall quality. That's the first round, so to say. The second round is we are going to talk what is the most preventing, what do the panelists think is the most preventing in this larger topic of ensuring excellent overall quality. And that's the second round, and then we are going to choose the so-called Topaasia, top issue. What do you think as a panelist is which one of these is the most relevant or the most top issue that you want to choose from this session? And that's the flow. And what fun, we are going to use actually this deck called Quality Quad in this session, which is actually made with Esko and the very merry folks of Qentinel. That's a fun fact to know. But now I'm going to share my screen, and then we are going to start the game. And if everything explodes, it explodes, and that's what happens. Okay. Now I will share my screen, and we are ready to start the game. Okay. Okay. So now we can see we have the topic is ensuring excellent overall quality, and the first point of view for discussion. In just a second, it might be that I need to make a quick reload. The first point of view for discussion is the most enabling factor. And now all the players, the panelists, they have, I'll explain for the participant also. So you have different kind of cards, different kind of topics in your phone. and you might have different or you might have same, but the idea is that you have these cards and everyone plays a card that they think you get the idea that you want to talk about in this topic of ensuring excellent overall quality. What do you think is the most enabling? And now we're going to wait that all the players play their cards here, and then we are going to start the round. So there's in this panel discussion, there is going to be these short moments of silence, and that is good practice for all of us. So we just need to stand those. Okay, now we have Sari, Samulis, Maaret, Mika's, and still Esko's card, and then we are ready to start the first round. Okay, so the first round of for discussion. So we are talking about the topic ensuring excellent overall quality, and the point of view was the most enabling. Now we have these different cards on the table. We have feedback, values, sharing of value, uncertainty, and transparency. Now the idea is that we have about 10 plus minutes to have discussion about these, and by the end of the discussions, we need to choose as a group what do we think from these by this discussion is the most enabling factor we want to choose to go forward with. But first we could start that everyone could explain why they chose what they chose in the game. Let's start with the one who played this card, feedback. We systematically collect, analyze, and utilize feedback. So the one of the panelists who played this, it would be interesting to hear why you chose this card as the most enabling.
Yeah, that was my card. And for me, the feedback is the one that we constantly should ask, because we don't really know where we are heading to unless we ask the feedback from the people to whom we are delivering our stuff. So in quality sense of view, that of course we can always do some debugging of the bugs or a lot of other things as well, but without asking the feedback, we can just guess is the way where we are heading to, is it going to the right direction. So that's why I selected the feedback.
Yes, thank you. What about the values? There was these values. We understand how the benefits created match with the customer's value. Who had this, and what was the idea behind this?
The values was my card, which I selected. Basically, I think that I didn't have a good option on my cards, so I should have like reshuffled them. But about the values, I think it's important to understand how everything affects to the end user. I think it goes to the same when we talk about the feedback. I think those are quite closely linked, that we understand the customer value, and basically how we know the customer value comes from the feedback, because otherwise we are just guessing. Oh, of course, there is some data which we can dig to get the value which we are given to the end users, but I think that's why I selected the value from the cards which I had.
Yes. What about this sharing the value? Sharing of value, there is that all involved parties will benefit to the extent that whole may benefit.
That was mine. So this is Esko. By the way, so you can't see me. I don't know why my camera is not working, but those of you who have seen me know that there's not much to see anyway.
Thinking the same.
Sharing of value, I find it important because making anything happen usually requires multiple people, multiple companies, so certain kind of ecosystem. And if you want to make something happen in an ecosystem, you need to make sure
we just go to the next card.
Everyone will benefit.
Now mic is muted. Esko.
No, I can hear Esko. Is it?
I cannot.
Sorry, so I could hear Esko, but was there someone who didn't hear Esko's?
No,
I wasn't able to hear.
Yeah, me neither.
no one
Okay,
else.
so for some reason I heard everything, so that's why I was thinking. Okay, so for some reason no one else hears it. So let's go to the next one. So uncertainty. I was the only one to hear Esko's point on that. So let's go to the uncertainty. So what was the idea behind this? What was the thought behind this? Why? Who chose it and why?
That's mine. I chose uncertainty. And I feel that a lot of the success around quality is related to how well we learn and how well we turn uncertainty into a bit more certainty over time, but also with uncertainty. So in the beginning, we will know less, and over time, it's kind of like a funnel that you need to build. If you don't accept that as a given thing, you're probably going to fail. And it was, it just happened to be the best of the cards that I was dealt with.
Yes. And then there's the transparency.
Yeah, that's
yes.
mine. And kind of like the same thing that, okay, it was the best cards from those that I got. I shuffled it once, but anyway, I started at, I wish that I would have got the feedback card since I totally think in that way. But anyway, I selected that card so that during implementing and during developing the stuff, we could see what are the actual failures or feedbacks or whatever, or successes, so that everyone has access, for example, to the most important data, being it results from customer service or whatever. But anyway, kind of like assuring that we will all know, for example, what are the things to improve and to get access to that data, for example.
Thank you. Okay, so the next phase is now that our topic is ensuring excellent overall quality, and we are looking for the most enabling, and there are these different topics here. So now the idea is that we would have a brief time to have a discussion about these, and by the end of the discussion, you should be able to form a mutual understanding about which one of these do you think is the one that you want to proceed with, that you think is the ones that answers best to this most enabling in this topic of ensuring excellent overall quality. We could do a vote, but I think it's more interesting to have it by discussion.
Yeah.
Sure.
Where should we start?
For me, this having all these is important. So you can't really live with only one of these. But if we need to select from these the one, then I would stick with the feedback that I originally selected here. But that's my view on here. But we can't really work without having the values and transparency and sharing of value, and uncertainty is the one that we need to face in any way all the time.
Agreed.
Can we now hear Esko?
Hey, can you see me? Can you hear me?
Hey!
Yes.
Great. Well, what I think actually I'm really like looking to this uncertainty card. Actually, well, most of the others, they are like for the value, feedback, sharing the value. Well, transparency not that much, but those are like tied to the end user's value. But then if I think what is like enabling most the quality, I would maybe move to the uncertainty part, because that's something that we need to be aware of, that there are things that we are not certain of, which when we knowledge that or understand that will keep us focusing on those things and discovering new ways of doing and ensuring the quality. So actually I'm starting to like more and more that uncertainty card.
Yeah, it's a weird card. Like I'm kind of between that one and then the transparency. But since transparency has way too often in practice in organizations meant that in Agile, we Jira ticket after Jira ticket, and then we move them around, I'm very, very allergic to the word transparency. Like I would like to have like honesty and being able to see what my colleagues are thinking. I'd like to talk about trust and things like that. But transparency, I think there's too much of the trust that we need to just extend to people instead of expect them to provide, do all these gimmicks that are enabling that trust.
Yeah, that was a good point. For me, transparency and trust are kind of enablers for each other, and I can't figure out which one of them comes first.
True.
So we're looking for that trust here that isn't any of the cards that we got to select.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where everyone wants to go. Find the trust. That's how to find it.
I could create. Let's see where we are at the moment. I create a vote, and now all the players have in their phones. If my wait a second. Oh no, you don't. No, you don't have the ability to do that, but because I need to update it. But let's do it by discussion because the voting doesn't fit in the wall. So we need to go with one of these. So which we have been talking about, uncertainty, transparency, and feedback most would be the most enabling. So what do you think in this group with this discussion? What would it be for you that you want to continue? But even though there isn't the trust factor here, or the card that says trust.
By listening the discussion, this uncertainty is a topic that I'm happy to go with if others are also joining there. So I can give up this feedback for transparency. For uncertainty.
Yeah, I think I would like to go with the uncertainty. I think that also comes in the end to the trust that when we are working with things that we are uncertain, we don't know them yet. The trust that we trust our team, that we trust our team members to discover those things is like most enabling with the quality things. That we trust our team that they will discover all those uncertainties which we have when developing something. I think that's why I would like to go with uncertainty.
But it's also kind of weird that we're actually selecting an anti-value as the most enabling. The more uncertainty we have, the better quality we have. Well, we're actually saying it's about dealing with uncertainty rather than what exactly the card is saying.
Yeah,
yes.
I just kind of like had some hard time of kind of like find the wording in the uncertainty card. And like you said, that we trust our teams that they are kind of like they can and they are allowed to solve the uncertainties, and that's the reasoning behind that. Then easily I can accept that one.
But we need to show trust in this team that we have right now, which means that since Esko was kind of like outside a bit in the beginning because of the technical difficulties, you get to voice the choice of the team so that we can move forward.
Nice.
Okay, wonderful. What does Esko say?
Thank you. Well, I love uncertainty, so let's go for that.
Okay. Okay, so that was the first round. Now it's the second round, and now the point of view is most preventing. So, and you need to, from the cards, you need to think about if there's an idea that comes from it. So it's not by word, but more like what ideas come from the card and the topic. So now we are looking at main topic is ensuring excellent overall quality, and now we are looking for the most preventing factor or the preventing factors.
I just have one card to select from, so.
Just refresh your page if it did that kind of amazing stuck. What was the stuck stickiness? And for me, the way I think the next round should be, I think it's interesting to hear why you chose what you chose. So I think we could go with the same kind of flow for the next round. Okay, still Mika's card.
This is harder to choose.
And it's sometimes it's just good to get something that's provoking.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we are looking for the most preventing, and we have employee experience, feelings, value proposition, expandability, and expectations. So I think my suggestion is that we go kind of the same way, like we go card by card, and what was the idea behind why you chose that, or what was your idea behind that. So we could start with the employee experience.
Yeah, that was mine. And now I didn't need to do any reshuffling of the cards. So that was the first one for me. Well, I don't know, the small text in the card itself kind of like explains that if we don't take care of our employees, then that will affect the customer experience as well. So basically just taking out those words from the small text, that was my reasoning behind it.
Yes. Then we have the feelings. We have identified the feelings we want each beneficiary to feel about the solution. So who was this, and what was the idea behind that one?
The feelings arm is my card. Basically, from the cards which I had, I didn't want to shuffle them. Why I chose the feelings card, I think it's about that. Quite often we don't understand how the feelings about the product, about the processes, about everything we do, how it affects to all those people around us. Normally we can think maybe about the feelings of the team, how the team is taking things, how team is taking changes which we are making, but are we never thinking about in the wider scope of those feelings, how it affects those around in our organizations, or how it affects to our customers' feelings. We might do great and quality products, but do we really care about how users actually feel about those products? So that's why my selection was feelings.
Yes, thank you. Then we have the value proposition.
Yeah, that was mine. And well, I think everyone who's been in the business for long enough has been building amazing things, while sometimes forgetting why they are amazing and for whom they are supposed to be amazing. And that's why I find it so important to understand, crystallize, and remember the value proposition.
Yes. Then we have expandability.
Yeah, that's mine, and I selected it because that is the kind of topic which I face quite often in my work today. The idea would be that in an ideal world we would be able to utilize the solutions that we generate for multiple purposes, but unfortunately, at least in my environment, we have a lot of dedicated solutions that are dedicated to a certain purpose, and expanding them to other usage is really challenging. So that's why I selected it for this round.
Yes. And then we have expectations. So
that would be then mine. I chose that because over the years my experience really has been that if you don't manage expectations, there will never be good experience of quality. So the whole idea of delivering something early on and showing what you're about to get can completely transform the perception. And if you don't have that kind of communication, mutual communication with whoever decides on quality in your product, you're probably going to fail. So that's why I chose that one.
Okay. So now we have these different topics here. So now the idea would be once again that if we were talking about the the preventing factor in this main topic of ensuring excellent overall quality. So, and in the end, we should once again form a meaning on one card and choose what it would be. So once again, what would be your ideas and thoughts about? We are looking for the most preventing factor of these, or any thoughts on the topics of these cards on the table?
For me, okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
I have 3 really kind of favorites. I'll just call them out: the value proposition, the employee experience, and then the expectations. I seem to like my own cards out.
Yeah, I would rate from these alternatives these expectations, because if we are talking about what is the most preventing, and that's something that that is many times it's unnecessary. It's not not good thing, but the expectations, they are many times setting up the scene, so that people are expecting something that is totally different than what you are trying to drive, and then it eats a lot of time for you to reshuffle the expectation or assuring the expectations in the right level.
Yeah. I'm kind of like wanted to go there as well. Well, not selecting my own card there, but the expectations for me kind of like summarize the value proposition in a sense that it kind of like, do we know what the, I don't know how to actually word it, but just it summarizes for me the value proposition card quite well. That okay, what is expected? If we don't know it at first, that we only know like a one bit of thing, bit of information that it is expected. We do that, and then we go and ask, did we match your expectations? And then the value from those questions and feedback, probably, I don't know. We aim to get the thing right. And not from the beginning, and I don't know, kind of like it's not complete in the first step. So I like the expectations card quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm actually going with the same card, the expectation card. That's also some kind of resonates in me. I think quite often we don't. If we think about the quality, we don't define what we expect from the quality. We always talk about that our product needs to be good, have a good quality.
Yeah.
What is good quality, and can there be too much quality? So what do we expect about the quality to be that we can say that, okay, this is now good enough? Because I think with the quality, we can always do some more and some more and some more. But when is it enough? And that's why the expectation is if we don't know them, then we don't know actually when we are ready from the quality.
Yeah, I will join with expectations. Quality is ultimately highly subjective and depends on the position of the observer, and it often manifests itself with or through expectations, either false expectations or right expectations. And yes, managing those expectations may prevent, or mismanaging those expectations may prevent you from reaching any kind of quality.
I think it sounds like that the most we are at this expectations card, or it's asking, should we go with that one on this round?
I feel like I need to be, against this, because I really like the value proposition, because eventually whose opinions matter? Those that make money. So I'm going to, challenge this, and I say we should go for value proposition. There should be value. It's not just the feelings. It's not just the fluffy stuff, but eventually someone needs to be ready to put money where their mouth is. I'm making this more difficult for you, right?
You're hard to disagree with.
Yeah. Was this a paid opinion?
Well,
I think it's good to have the
professional opinion out of 25 years of experience. I know how that works.
Yeah, just joking.
Yes, and let's go. And in the topic ensuring excellent overall quality, we are looking for from these the most preventing. So now we have been talking more about expectation and value proposition. I think we should have few more minutes to discuss about these before making the decision, because that was good challenging from Maaret.
And it's just one example came out of my mind, that, for example, having a training in for example in Sanoma, and talking about this kind of like what is the acceptance criteria and all that, kind of like referring to the expectations card in a sense, that what is the correct level of details in for example requirements of a feature of a software product or whatever. Then I use as example, for example, if you were all like carpenters and I would ask that, okay, make me a chair, and that would be the one-liner of the requirements, and I have some expectations about the chair, what kind of chairs I would like, that probably you would all make a different kind of chair. I don't know, but it's likely, and some of you might even make a chair with 3 legs only. So in a sense, I'm just seeing what I mean, that for the value proposition might be that, okay, you are able to sit on something. I don't know, a chair might be just a piece of wood chopped from a tree. Did I match your expectations, and did it provide the value? I'm just seeing that those cards are pretty similar in my end, kind of like you need to have some kind of guess about the value at first. I don't know, or this is just me thinking out loud about the topic, that you kind of need some kind of expectations to be able to provide any value, or I don't know.
Well, the card here says we can explain the benefits so that anyone who needs to comprehend can comprehend.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's kind of embedding that inside it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're reading those smaller text, it makes
more sense.
Even harder to choose which one to pick, because there is the point in the value proposition when you read it like the small text that makes sense.
But if you read the small text and the header there, it's still that the value proposition, for me, we almost always have that in place, and it's not preventing the quality. But what is really preventing the excellent overall quality are these expectations, which are kind of setting the barriers for us to proceed. And that's why I would still stick with these expectations.
Yeah, I think that's kind of good point, because quite often we know the value which we are trying to deliver. At least we think, and we can communicate that. But then about the expectation about the quality, I think that's really hard to tell what we expect. How do we define the quality product? That's maybe really hard, or at least for me, it's really hard to define as a product owner to my team that what is the quality which I'm expecting from the product. I can always tell that, it needs to be great, it needs to work, it needs to be up and running, whatever numbers. But is that like, am I making those expectations about the quality clear enough for my team? I think I have failed a few times at least in that.
I think now we need to create a vote. So now all the players have, so that we will stick amazingly well in the timetable. Now all the players have in their phones, you have that Game Master created the vote. Or at least should be. If not, then we need to have it by discussion.
You must notice that I'm playing a game here. No matter what you choose, I will win. It's either my card or my choice.
I think once again I will cancel this voting part. I think we need to just make the decision without that. Should we go with the value proposition or the expectation? What do you think is more relevant in this this discussion?
And I just voted.
Yeah,
I also voted.
This is like in US. No, sorry.
No, no,
Let's not go there.
well,
I don't know. It's just my former, well, while I was helping and working with people from YLE, and there was this one man there, Jaakko. What was Jaakko's last name? If you know Jaakko used to work at Sanoma actually before he joined Yle. But anyway, he just about the value itself and what is the customer value, and before we do something for the customer to be able for them to be able to use it, we only have a guess of value, and we kind of like we know that we can we have kind of like a customer promise in our product, whatever we want to do, that we promise for the customer that you will be able to do A, B, and C, and the value that it actually provides you, it's just like a subjective thing. We don't know it beforehand. In a sense, how can we then kind of like write down, in a sense, a value that it actually provides to the end user, since we can only like know what we can promise for the customer that is kind of like possible within the product or the context that we are actually delivering. This was just my reasoning. Well, I voted the expectations there, but this was just something that came in my mind.
Yeah. So which one would it be at the moment? So I think after that we will end this and have the question and answers to the audience, and because we are on the time. So if we are talking about the expectations or value proposition, which in this, from your point of view, which one proceeds?
I would still stick with the expectation. I
Me
think
too.
that's more harder than the value proposition.
Me too. I vote for that.
Yes. Maaret and Esko.
Yeah, obviously I voted for the value proposition, so I'm always being in a different perspective.
I would be okay with either of them, but I think Maaret made such great sales pitch for value proposition that I picked that one.
It's a draw.
Yes, it's a draw. So I think we will, because we are on the time, so we will not choose the top issue from the uncertainty and these. We will actually end it with the question to the audience in the Q&A. Would they have chosen expectations or value proposition? And that is going to be package our panel discussion from the topic ensuring excellent overall quality. This time.
Yeah, so the participants are now voting. We are already 12 minutes over the time.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. So we are. So we can vote on the Q&A. And while people are voting, everyone can vote, in Q&A, what would you choose? I will ask one more question from all the panelists. Have you used games in the workplace? Or after this experience, how do you feel about them? Would you use them?
I would definitely use. I have been using them and I will continue using. And this game is a really good game for this type of facilitated discussions, because you can select the topics and you kind of you just explain why you selected a certain topic, and then you can continue the discussion. If you don't have anything to support your discussion, then it's hard for people who are not so extrovert to put their opinion in.
Yeah, I also agree with those comments that the games and those games where you have something that you need to select, it makes you every time think about it. So at least you have your own opinion about something where to start the discussion. So you need to go through your thoughts about a certain thing. So different kind of games are really, really good on the facilitating team activities, or even in the larger scope. Or I think it was nice to have this kind of discussion with the people from other companies who has different knowledge, because we don't know each other beforehand. This is the first time we actually meet.
Thank you, Jussi, for coming here to organize this game. And I definitely will use this game myself with my team. And we can see from the Q&A that expectations was the winner. So, yeah. So we have a winner. Thank you so much, all the panelists, for joining today. It was an interesting discussion to follow. And the next thing on here, we will have a sponsor talk from Know It. So the next, I will welcome to the floor Kari Kakkonen from Know It. Thank you for sponsoring the event series. Yeah, Kari, can you add Kari to the stage?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, okay. So the floor is yours, Kari.
Thank you very much. It was a lovely panel. I love games myself. It was really good stuff. Let me share the screen. So here we go. And like that. Okay. Well, you can see one or the other. I'll just move on to say that I just want to tell a few stories during this 5 minutes. One is that Know It has a number of agile services which are very, very popular. Our customers like to turn to us, ask us to help, and we do help them by coaching and training to become more agile, either improve their already agile practices and teams and organizations, or also just totally transform them from some earlier lifecycle model into agile. We do believe also that agile alone is not really enough, but we need also DevOps as part of it. So agile as part of DevOps is essential. We need to be moving that road. All companies need to be moving that road, trying to go towards continuous delivery all the time, taking those measures that are there available. Another story is our own internal approach to Know It. We always been very flat organization, not much hierarchy, but in actually past year we've had a very nice experience of what we call Know It Agile. So we have taken a look at our structures, our superiors, our relationships to our HR, competence development, lots of things like that, and all these things are happening at the moment in even more agile and flat phase. So everybody has plenty of different opportunities. They have responsibilities as well to take care of their own teams and competencies. When they need something official, we have something called superior as a service. So they have a team of people to approach concerning their legal things that you just have to have in order to be an employee of a company. So all this we think is bringing us even closer to the customer, helping to be even more customer focused than in previous years, and really succeeding both as a company and as a player in our stakeholders. So helping our customers to succeed as well. Then another development, and the last thing I'll mention, is the Know It, the Bureau of Agile. So we are doing these podcasts, which you can, for example, find in YouTube if you type in Know It Agile agent. So very interesting podcasts. They talk about Agile there from many different angles. Sometimes by us, sometimes by a guest speaker. So interesting stuff. So stay tuned there and enjoy this conference. Come talk to us at our table. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.